All right, everybody. Welcome to the Upper Room with the Youth. This is our first Q&A. My name is Matthew Beal, and today we have Father Bobby Vogel for Q&A. So yeah, he is the associate pastor of St. Gabriel, St. Bridget, and St. Mary's in Rushville, Connersville, in Liberty, Indiana. So thanks for coming, Father Bobby.
Thank you so much for having me.
So yeah, first, what was your life leading up to seminary and then now in the priesthood? What's your vocation story, I guess you could say? What's that like?
It's been an interesting journey. I was raised, Catholic, cradle Catholic all the way through. And it was I was around 10 or 12 whenever my priest and deacon first asked me if I'd ever thought about being a priest. And it was something I'd never really considered, and I think it just kind of stuck with me. And so as I was going up through high school, I noticed later in high school when I would go to Mass, they would pray for increased vocations to the priesthood. And for some reason, I couldn't explain why at the time, but it felt like they were talking to me. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know what to do with that. And as I was getting older, I was more interested in dating, and I said, I don't want to be a priest. I want nothing to do with this. And so I kind of just ignored it and decided that I would just stop going to Mass, which my parents were not thrilled about. But I walked away. I stopped going for a number of years, and I might have gone maybe for like Christmas or Easter here and there, but not really any time else. So I was going up through college, was first in Columbus at IUPUC, and then ended up transferring up to IUPUI, where I was majored in computers in the end. And while I was there, that's where I first encountered these missionaries called Focus missionaries, these people. And they invited me to a Bible study, which I was very confused about, because I thought that was not what Catholics did. And so I got to know them. I started going to their Bible study and just got to know them, grew in friendship with them, and really realized in my time there that I really enjoyed the faith, that I was hungry to know more about the faith, to know more about the Lord. And I ended up just having a really powerful, life-changing experience while I was in my last year there, and actually ended up becoming a Focus missionary. Very ironically, I said I would never do that, but ended up doing that, all with the idea of wanting to pursue the priesthood. It seemed like the next logical step after some prayer and talking with a priest and discerning. It just seemed like the next best step. And so I was a Focus missionary for a couple of years at Eastern Michigan in Ypsilanti. It's right next to Ann Arbor, and worked with college students there, and worked with students that were as stubborn as I was when I was in college. And it was a beautiful 2 years. Just met incredible people, made incredible friends, incredible friendships, and got to travel quite a few places on mission trips and things. I ended up going to Malaysia, to Ecuador. I've been to Mexico a few times and different things for mission trips. It's been a huge blessing. The Lord has taken me many places I never dreamed of. Didn't even know I wanted to travel. But it's been incredible. And so I was a missionary for 2 years, and then decided, with the help of my spiritual director, to enter into seminary for the Archdiocese of Indianapolis. And so I went to St. Meinrad, and from there, it's funny, I never really dreamed of being a parish priest, diocesan priest at all. It did not seem exciting. I was not thrilled by the idea at all. But I didn't know what else to do. And so I just prayed, Lord, if you want this for me, just open the door, and I'll go wherever you lead me. And he opened the door. And while I was there, that's really at St. Meinrad, that's where I began to fall in love and discover what exactly a parish priest does, and all those things, and definitely fell in love with it. And it definitely was the right fit for me. And so was just ordained a year and 5.5 months ago, and I've been loving it.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So You're here now. What was your previous assignments?
So I was my first year at St. Simon's on the northeast side, around Fishers,
Okay.
for just that first year, and then I was moved to St. Jude on the south side, kind of south of Beech Grove. There for the last 5 months, and now I am here.
Now you're here. What are you most excited about being here?
I am honestly super excited to be in a rural parishes, because
really?
I don't like the city is nice. I love people, but they are too close together. They are just, there's too much going on, and it's just so chaotic, and I enjoy this pace of life a lot more away, because this is what I grew up in. I grew up in a small town in Indiana, surrounded by cornfields. Like, that is what I'm used to.
Yeah, good. So what is your favorite saint?
Well, I am not going to pick one, because I really can't. So there's 3 I usually pray to every single day. And then the first one is St. Catherine of Siena. She is a wonderful saint, very vocal, really a prophetic voice in the church. In the, what was that? The 1400s, I believe. She once told the Pope, who was, because of political reasons, was living in France, in Avignon, to get his butt back to Rome, where he belonged. And he listened.
Wow.
That's the crazy thing. Like, she was known as a holy woman in her lifetime, and just an incredible person. And oddly enough, she wrote many things, but she actually didn't know how to write. It was all dictated. But she, was still a prophet and a prophetess in her time. And the reason I pray to her each day, especially before I preach, is because I had an experience in Rome when I was there. I went to her tomb, and they had like these little slips of paper where you could write a prayer and lay it on her tomb. And I distinctly remember praying for something and not really expecting much of it, but I just recognized I was lacking in something. And she answered my prayer the very same day, which I've never experienced before in my life. That was, whoa, okay. It was just very clear that she was answering my prayer in that particular way. And it just moved me. I was like, okay, you have my attention. Never had that with a saint. And then the other 2 saints, one, St. John Vianney, patron saint, parish priest. Love him. Just a humble, simple man. And I identify a lot with him. I had many struggles in seminary, as he did. Particularly with writing. So that was that. He's wonderful. And then Saint Francis Xavier, being our patron of the diocese, as well as just a great missionary, just a heart just on fire for the Lord, and wanting to evangelize and save souls. Like, I read things about his life, and I was just so inspired, and I very much want to be a missionary priest wherever I go in this diocese, after his own heart, right? So he was inspired by the Lord.
His feast day was just
December 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your first Mass here, wasn't it? I believe so. I think so.
One of,
Yeah, I think it was that Wednesday night. Yeah. Do you have a favorite devotion, and why? Like a miraculous medal or the brown scapular or anything like that?
Besides the rosary, which everyone should pray. It's so important just for the spiritual life. I really have been moved by the Surrender Novena. It is something that really helped me when I was really struggling in a time in seminary. I was not sure if the Lord was calling me to do this life. And I just felt a very strong call to pray this. I'd known about this devotion for years, but never really dived into it, or hadn't in a long time. And it's just such a powerful thing, like reminding us that we have a Father in heaven who loves us, who wants nothing more than to bring his family home, to bring all of us home in his heavenly mansion. And that's the goal. And that it's not on us to do and to make everything happen. We are not autonomous. We are not in full control of everything. We are to do our part, but ultimately, he's the one that has the control. He's the one that has us in the palm of his hands. And it's just up to us to surrender, to know that, and to trust in that, and to, just try and just trust in his will, that he is always present.
Yeah. Amen. So, next, do you have a favorite liturgical season, and why, maybe?
I kind of like, it's not really an official liturgical season, but we're just coming off of it, and I just really liked it this year. The month of November is almost like an official liturgical season on the last things, the four last things about eschatology. So death, judgment, heaven, and hell. So just looking at the end of what awaits us, and it's funny, but it's so wise that the church puts that at the end of the liturgical year, and then that butts up right into Advent, which then sets the tone for Advent, right?
Yeah.
Advent's kind of this twofold: the coming of Christ at his birth, but also his second coming, the parousia, whenever he comes again to judge the world. And so it's reminding us that Christ has come and he will come again. And are we ready?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of this jostling meant to point us to repent, to look to him, and to look at our lives and see how we're falling short, and to turn to him, right? To turn all the more and double our efforts and to living our relationship with him.
Yeah. So next thing, because your role here is the associate pastor with Father Dustin, so I wanted you to explain a little bit of what the main role of the associate pastor is. And I mean, yes, to assist Father Dustin all these masses at the three parishes, but I mean, after that, I guess, what is your main role as the associate pastor here?
It's very much, being a team player with him, and doing all the things that happen at a parish, which we have three, so there are many things. It's a little different than where I was coming from, just one, what I would call a mega church. But to be able to help at three different locations and serve the communities of three different places is quite a challenge. And there's a lot going on at the three different places. And so just being present, just trying to be a father who is present to the spiritual children is such an important thing. That's a vital role that you can't really replace. We really need priests for that. A family without a father, it doesn't work. Not well at all. And I know I'll also be working with altar servers. I know particularly at St. Mary's, trying to kind of do what we do here and have that come over there, which I'm excited to do. And just to make that kind of the Master of Ceremonies, that mentorship program happen there, which will be really exciting for those young men there, as well as bringing into the church those who are coming in this Easter Vigil. In charge of, I call it OCIA. I think it should just be called the CIA, but just Christian initiation for adults. I'm really excited to walk with people in that as they're discovering the Lord, encountering him, and just growing in faith and their walk of discipleship with him and what that looks like. And it's always just exciting to be with people that are discovering Christ, the Catholic Church, what he's given us, kind of for the first time, and just diving in. So, that's what all I can think of for now, besides the usual day-to-day things, be present in the school and daily life.
Yeah, that's cool. So, then we have one more question. This last question is for Father Jose. Hopefully he's watching right now. But as you may know, he was the associate pastor here, and he told us that he doesn't like onions at all. So, Father Bobby, the most important question, do you like onions?
I love onions, on tacos especially, because they belong on tacos, and especially if they're sauteed. I love sauteed onions too. So,
well, there you have it, everybody. He loves tacos. All right. Well, thank you for being on
it's my
for
pleasure.
the Q&A. And then maybe we'll do another video like this sometime.
Sounds wonderful.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.